So I'm always going to look at it because there's new ways of thinking, there's new technologies, there's new information that comes, and we want to be able to adjust and iterate on that.
My name is Matt Reiner, managing partner at Capital Investment Advisor, CEO of Wellness Strategies, an author, podcast host, and also a speaker to the wealth management community. My mission is to help every family in this country have access and be served by a human financial advisor. That we all have to live in the moment and not try to force progress too quickly. Let it happen and commit to a long-term strategy in your life, in your business, and in your investment portfolio.
And now, your host and my dad, Matt Reiner.
Welcome to the FutureProof Advisor podcast. Today, we're exploring something that might fundamentally change how you think about innovation, creativity, and building the future of your business. Here's a question that's been running around my head lately. What if every overnight success or deemed overnight success you've ever admired was actually decades in the making? We've all had that moment. I've had it many of times. You're scrolling through your phone, maybe you're using Instagram or you're ordering groceries through Instacart, and this thought creeps in. Why didn't I think of that? The innovation seems so obvious, so simple, that we convince ourselves we could have been the one to crack the code. But here's what we're missing. And this is going to sound counterintuitive coming from someone who spends his time helping advisors innovate. The problem isn't that we're not creative enough. The problem is that we're looking at innovation completely wrong. Innovation is not about inventing something from nothing. It's not about having that eureka moment in the shower. It's about seeing the same Lego pieces everyone else has and building something entirely different. And today, I'm going to show you why this changes everything about how we should be thinking about the future of our industry and why FutureProof Advisors are doing this every single day. It's what changed my mindset and hopefully will help you open up your mindset to new ways. So today, we're going to explore really 4 key insights that I think will reframe how you view and think about innovation. First, we'll discover why innovation is actually about combining existing pieces rather than creating new ones, and what this means for your business strategy or how you deal with your families. Second, we'll look at how the greatest innovators are essentially master Lego builders and why this skill is more learnable than you think. And there will be a Lego theme throughout the podcast because it really helps to shape and create a visual around innovation. Third, we're going to examine why timing and market readiness matter more than brilliance and how to spot when the pieces are ready to be assembled, because just that they're on the table doesn't mean that they're ready to be utilized as part of what you are assembling. And then finally, we're going to explore why studying failures of the past might be more valuable than chasing the trends of today. It sounds like this may be academic theory, but this isn't just academic theory. This is a practical framework that will help anybody, whether you're highly creative or not highly creative, help you identify real opportunities in our industry right now. And gosh, is there a time more than ever that we need to be focused on looking at opportunities and how to go and execute it. I've heard it so often from others who are really amazed that they didn't think up of Instagram or Netflix or some other seemingly simple technology that they use every day, because when we use it, it's all so easy. Like, how would we not have thought to put just pictures on the internet and allow people to scroll, right? That's like simple. As they say in The Interns, the movie, it's a $1 billion idea. And it's actually $1 trillion, or they say it's $1 million idea, but it's $1 billion idea. We all feel that we should have thought of these, right? But the problem is that we spend our time looking for the quote next thing, as opposed to looking at what is already there or has been there that hasn't worked, right? We try to imagine the world in a different light. We attempt to create the next billion-dollar idea. We try to find this next, quote, thing. Because what we see, the Instagrams, the Netflix of the world, the end result seems to be this out of nowhere concept that suddenly becomes an integral part of our lives. We didn't have it, now we have it, and we think that that's how innovation happens. But the reality is that the greatest innovators know that innovation is a game of Legos. It's a game of maturation. It's a game of seeing things differently when the technology, the timing, and the social factors all align. Unlike investments where timing the market is nearly impossible, timing is actually a crucial component of innovation. The difference is you can learn to read the signals. The greatest innovations are those that juxtapose known methodologies and techniques to solve existing problems. They don't look for the next thing. They look for the best way to put the things currently available together in a unique way. Things being the social acceptance, the technologies, etc. This is why we're looking at innovation all wrong. We're trying to invent when we should be combining. We're trying to create when we should be connecting. Let me tell you a story that completely changed how I think about innovation, and it starts with a spectacular failure. In 1996, a company called Webvan launched with a promise to revolutionize how we shop for groceries. Customers could order online and have groceries delivered to their door. Sound familiar? You know where I'm going. They raised $400 million from venture capitalists, and they even went public. I think they raised another $350-400 million in the public markets. With the money, Webvan built massive automated warehouses, and they seemed unstoppable. The internet was booming. Webvan was there delivering groceries. It was incredible. 5 years later, they were gone. Let's try our best to go back in time here. Let's really try. It's hard because we know the outcome. We know how everything has changed, and it's hard for us to go back, but let's try. At the time of Webvan's launch in 1996, the internet and mobile devices were in their extreme infancy. I mean, remember the CDs that came to your house that gave you minutes for AOL Instant Messenger? That was 1996. The concept of shopping online was still extremely young and not widely accepted. Online payments were immature. Companies like PayPal weren't even founded yet, and Google Maps was still 9 years from launching. If we fast forward 11 years from Webvan's closing, we have the founding of a company called Instacart. The exact same concept. Online grocery shopping with delivery to your house. But this time, it worked. Instacart has revolutionized grocery shopping and is now valued at nearly $13 billion. Louis Borders, Webvan's founder, would later watch from the sidelines as Instacart succeeded wildly with his exact idea. The difference wasn't the idea, it was the timing of the Lego pieces. Let's break that down for a second. By 2012, the iPhone had trained millions of people to shop with their thumbs. GPS made delivery tracking seamless. Amazon had normalized online purchasing. Machine learning could optimize delivery routes. Online payments were not only mature, they were trusted by this time. And with the evolution of Uber, this idea of ride sharing, creating a new mentality at solving problems, helped to push this forward. No longer did a grocery delivery business need their own warehouse either. They could use the physical grocery stores to help their initiatives. Just like Uber was using the physical cars of the Uber drivers to achieve their initiatives of transporting individuals. The same innovation that failed in 2001 thrived in 2012. Not because someone was smarter, but because the building blocks had finally aligned. This story has sat with me forever. I even tell it to our new team members, and a lot of the younger ones don't know who Webvan was or remember it. but it continues to create this moment of clarity that innovation we know of today are not eureka moments, but rather the combination of the right time, the right tools, and recalibration of past failures or attempts. And here's the first crucial insight. Innovation arises from blending existing ideas, technologies, and market readiness rather than solely relying on sudden flashes of genius. Let me give you a perfect example. Apple did not create the mobile phone. They put the pieces available to them together in a unique way to build the iPhone. Steve Jobs is a genius because he saw the Lego pieces in a different way than anybody else. By the time the iPhone launched, broadband technology had advanced drastically. Cell phones already existed. I mean, I remember in the 90s, my dad had a car phone in his car. That was the craziest thing. And then we had the Microsoft or the Motorola Razors, right? The internet was growing rapidly by the time the iPhone came about, and e-commerce concepts were maturing. Touchscreen technology had been around for decades. What I've just talked to you about are the pieces. What Apple did is reimagine the design while using all of these existing pieces. They created a touchscreen, a sleek mobile phone built on an operating system that leveraged an app store, which was benefited from the maturation of online shopping becoming mainstream and helped to spur the ideation. Apple didn't grow the tomatoes, wheat, or herbs. They took the ingredients that were already available and combined them into a revolutionary recipe that no one had thought to make before. This pattern repeats everywhere. Netflix didn't invent streaming video. They combined existing broadband infrastructure with content licensing and user interface design. Tesla didn't invent electric cars. They combined battery technology, software, and manufacturing innovations that already existed. The most profound innovations hide in plain sight. They're not born from basement laboratories or lightning bolt moments in the shower. They emerge when someone notices that the world has quietly shifted, creating new possibilities from old pieces. That's innovation. Here's the thing. Innovation is about seeing Lego pieces of current technologies in a different way than anybody else, not building the Lego pieces themselves. Steve Jobs did not build the Lego pieces. He put them together the right way. Instacart did not build the Lego pieces. They saw what they were and put them together to create something unique and different. To spend time thinking of a new concept or a new tool or a new way of doing business is actually a complete waste of time. The greatest innovators are the ones who see all of the technologies, the current trends, and the current market conditions that are available all on a single table. And they have the ability to look at them, to see the different pieces coming together in a way that creates something entirely new. Think about it this way. Innovators are able to see Legos on a table and create something incredible without needing step-by-step instructions to a specific outcome. They are the people that can take Legos and create a masterpiece without a booklet. Here's what this means practically. Instead of asking, what new thing can I create? The better question is, what existing pieces can I combine in a way that nobody else has thought of? This is why it's so important to study other industries. Our clients interact with hundreds of other services and products every single day. As advisors in firms, even our teams, we may spend 6, 12, maybe 20 hours a year with our clients. Yet they're living awake for nearly 6,000 hours in a year. That's outside of sleep. In those 6,000 hours, they're being influenced by the world around them. They're learning what great service looks like from Amazon. They're experiencing seamless technology from Apple. They're getting used to on-demand everything from Uber and DoorDash. Understanding the trends that are driving them in those other hours outside of talking to us, which, yes, I know it's shocking. They do other things other than talk to us, can inspire us to better innovate on what they will accept, reject, and also need. I love the analogy of the lighthouse keeper focuses on their beacon, but understanding the ocean currents, the weather patterns, and shipping trends happening far beyond their shore determines where ships will actually need guidance. And that's what we need to do with our families and clients, is understand what's going on in those other 6,000 hours a year that they're not talking and interacting with us. A conversation that I always have, and it tends to be with many advisors and all those people that tend to say they're not creative, is innovation can feel opaque and utopian and also forever in the horizon. The length of time for an innovation to become successful depends entirely on market readiness. And this is when most people get innovation wrong. Great innovators don't just study the trends of today, they study the why behind failures of the past. I mean, don't forget our Webvan story. Let that sit in your mind forever. The founders were not stupid. They saw a real problem and built a logical solution based on the information and the environment that they had in that day. But they were operating in a world where the supporting technologies weren't ready. Now looking back, we know that the market wasn't ready. The consumer behaviors weren't ready. Too much had to change in order for the business to be successful. This is why timing is such a crucial component of innovation. It's not about being first. It's about being first when the world is ready. Here is how I tend to think about and how you can think about market readiness. There are really 4 critical factors that need to align. First is utility. Does the innovation solve a real problem that people are actively experiencing? Second is infrastructure. Are the supporting technologies mature enough to deliver on the promise? Third is acceptance. Are people ready to change their behavior? And then fourth is trust. Do people believe in the solution and the company delivering it? When even one of those factors is missing, innovations fail. When they all align, seemingly overnight success happens. This is why studying failures can be more valuable than studying successes. When you understand why something failed in the past, you can assess whether those conditions have changed. Which of those 4 was the driver of the failure based on what you know today? And has that failure been overcome? Look at artificial intelligence, AI. It failed in the 1980s during what was known as the AI winter. Just go look at it. Heck, use AI to figure it out and talk with AI to learn about it, because the technology in the AI winter was overpromised. Computing power was limited and it couldn't deliver practical solutions. But processing power has exploded, data has become abundant, and machine learning algorithms have improved dramatically. The pieces finally aligned for companies like OpenAI and Google and Anthropic to make AI work in ways that actually transform how we live and work. Heck, you don't have to look that much further back. Even IBM Watson, an AI solution built by IBM, won Jeopardy in 2011. But it wasn't for another 10 plus years before AI became mainstream. The pieces weren't aligned. There was no applicability. There was no understanding. There was no social acceptance. The pieces must align to create the perceived instant overnight success. Eureka, if you're looking for when this happens at the idea stage, not the execution and delivery stage. What we tend to believe about innovation being a eureka moment is actually about the eureka idea, an idea about what to create or build. That's that quote moment in the shower. But the actual innovation comes from your accumulated knowledge and interaction with other services, technologies, and the market conditions that you yourself are experiencing. The inspiration might be a lightning bolt, but the actualization is always a combination of known tools and trends. No innovation happens immediately. Successful innovations are the output of a journey of trials and tribulations, and the eureka moment is just the beginning. It's recognizing that existing pieces can be combined in a new way, that the eureka moment is an idea that now allows you to go figure out what pieces you can combine to put it together. The The hard work is understanding the market, building the right team, timing the launch, iterating based on feedback, and ultimately scaling the solution, which is actually really, really good news for all of us. Because what it means is that innovation is more accessible than we think. We don't need to be genius inventors. We need to be skilled observers and thoughtful combiners. And as future-proof advisors, why is this important? Because in a world where AI is evolving, the service and the experience our clients are expecting of us, and the industry as a whole is changing, we need to think differently. And it's not as difficult as it may have seemed. Here's something I want you to consider. What if we created a new way to service our families that actually was an old way? Maybe that servicing philosophy from the past that became extinct in recent decades as our industry focused on efficiency and scale. But what if there's now a new wave of technology and changing client expectations that enables us to use those lessons combined with modern tools to deliver something better? Maybe we can rethink the concierge model of high touch, highly personal services for more families, not fewer. We went upstream as the concierge model became inefficient to all size clients. But what if AI can handle the routine tasks, freeing us to be more, quote, concierge-like than ever before and to more people than ever before? The point is this: the future often looks like the past, but with better tools. As we continue to build our industry for the future, we don't need to rethink everything. We just need to look at the new environment, assess the new tools available, and ask what might have worked in the past that couldn't be done then, but could be done now. Old fads become new fads to future generation. The same is true for innovations. The founders of Google, Apple, and Netflix aren't some alien type individuals with abstract skill sets that nobody else has. We all have the skills they do. The difference is how they applied them. They spent time seeing how to put the pieces together to solve current world problems. They were skilled at recognizing when the moment was right and the pieces were ready. The future-proof advisor learns this lesson. It's not about putting effort into recreating from scratch. It's about reusing, recombining, and reimagining. The next breakthrough within your business isn't waiting to be invented. It's waiting to be assembled from pieces that already exist. The question isn't whether you're creative enough to build something new. It's whether you're observant enough to see the combinations everyone else is missing. Start by looking backwards. What ideas in our industry were ahead of their time 5 or 10 years ago? The technology, regulations, or market conditions that once hindered them might now be exactly what makes them viable. Then look sideways. What are your clients learning to expect from their experiences with other industries that we could bring to ours? The pieces are all there. The question is, what are you going to build? Before you go, I want to hear from you. Click on the link in the episode description to share your thoughts on this question. Which failed innovation from our industry's past do you think is most ready for a comeback given today's technology and market conditions? And I gave you some options. Your insights always are helpful. They help shape future episodes, and I read every one of them. And if you found today's high insights valuable, please share this episode with a colleague or a friend who's thinking about innovation in their firm. And thank you. Thank you for spending time with me today. It means the world to me, and I'll never take it for granted. So go out there and be part of the change that betters our industry. Stay well, be well, keep on exploring.